Good evening, my little weirdos. I am tired, but I've been reading and watching a lot of people in countries that aren't the USA. I've been seeing in the last couple of days outrage from people in other countries. Why aren't the Americans doing something? From Canadians. Why aren't they protesting? Americans protest. Why aren't they doing anything? How come they're just letting him do this to their neighbors to the north? So, to the rest of the world that isn't the United States of America, which is actually the divided states of America currently, we are. There's something called the 50501 5051 movement. 50 states, 50 capitals, or 50 marches, same day. We did it on March 4th. They've done it a few times. They've got a list where we've been boycotting, like several days. It's all like no Amazon, no Walmart, no, like the big places, the ones that donate, like Jack Daniels. You guys know Jack Daniels, right? Canadians, you all took them off the shelves. They also, not only are they manufactured in a red state, but you did a double yes because they donated alcohol to Trump's inauguration. Yeah. So, hey, Canada, good job. I bet you didn't know that. So you did a double payback on that. We just had an economic blackout, only from small businesses, and only from small businesses that we know support the liberal progressive perspective of life. We are doing things. Oh, I don't know how many of you have seen the series called The Handmaid's Tale, or even read the book. It's very scary. The book came out in 1985, and I think the movie was 2017. The series started to come out. If you know that story, scarily, that's how that started, with getting religion and cutting on education. Two things that the Republicans have been doing for a decade: cutting education and cutting. Democrats have been against those. Democrats have been for education. Also, the Republicans have always tried, and they're doing it now, trying to make it harder to vote. What you have to have for a registration now, what you have to do, and you can only vote on the one day. What about people like me who work on the election day? We work the elections. We can't leave, and we don't usually work in our precinct. So we don't get to vote if we don't have early voting or mail-in voting. That's what they're trying to do. It is all the Republicans, guys. For the rest of the planet, it is the Republican Party. Their color is red, not the Democrat Party. Their color, our color, is blue. Blue. Okay? We are doing things. Oh, the other thing, there's an app for your phone called 5 Calls. Your senators and representatives, their office numbers, local to you, and in Washington, D.C., the capital, their office there, to call every day, make 5 calls. For me, it's 3. Just because of where I am, sometimes I don't have as many, representatives or senators, because New Jersey is a small state. Um, that's the other thing. Call your representatives and your senators, and they have a list of things, and they even have the number. They even have a spiel if you need to leave a voicemail or you don't know what to say. We are doing things. You know why you're not hearing about it? Let me tell you. I wanted to tell you all the things we are doing, but you don't hear about it, do you? You're listening to me and going, "Oh, come on, Judy. How could you be doing all that? We never see it. The news never shows us that happening in America." Bingo. Bingo. What does a dictator, authoritarian type of person trying to make a power grab? He cracks down on the media. Just like his daddy Putin. They're afraid now. They're afraid to say things that are going to piss him off, or make him look bad on the world stage, because he's threatened I'll just, pull the plug on you. You won't be able to I'll just close your station down. You're saying you can't do that, can you, in America? No. But see, the thing is, they've been doing so much, so fast and overwhelming, that they're trying to get the lawsuits, as soon as something's done, into the courts. The courts are trying to expedite as fast as possible and say, hold it, you got to stop doing that thing. And it seems like every day a court's coming back. He's doing 5 more things, and the court's coming back with 3 things from the day before saying, you have to stop that. You have to do that with Congress. You see what I'm saying? So it's just a massive chaos right now. But we are doing things. And no, he probably can't shut down the stations and such like that. But they're bending the knee before they're even told, forced to. Let's put it that way. All they were done was threatened. And because money means more to them than loyalty to truth, they capitulate and they don't cover. Or they cover it very briefly and it doesn't really go on to national type news. Or it's just like a 2-minute piece that you could easily miss. That's what the mainstream media. That's why I don't listen to mainstream. I went streaming. I don't have cable. I went just to YouTube, because they have the channels there if you want to. MSNBC, all those, they have them there. And you're not beholden to just that. Because, see, on YouTube, when you go premium, you're not paying for cable. You got to pay for internet anyway, but if you're not paying for the cable part of it, I went premium, so you don't have all the ads, just the super sponsored ones, not by the by the channel itself. But that's why a lot of people get their news from journalists online, like Brian Tyler Cohen. These are people that, if you might want to, if you're interested to see, they cover stuff. Brian Tyler Cohen, the Midas Network. Fair and Cousins, he has Fair and Balanced and Ring of Fire are the 2 channels he does. They'll tell you about stuff that's happening. MSNBC, all but the morning show, the Joe and Mika show, they're traitorous. They bent the knee to Trump. MSNBC also is, because they just fired people. One was a black woman, one was an Asian fella, one was a gay guy. Yeah, So, but I have seen things on them. But my main purpose is to tell you guys it is happening. And you know where you can see it? If you get, I'm not big on Facebook, but I need the groups. And no other social platform in America here has like the groups. And I have Helping Parents Heal, because I lost one of my twin teen sons 3.5 years ago. And art groups and things like that. That's why I stay on Facebook. So I figure I may as well make it work for me, since I'm kind of like obligated to be there, to be part of those groups, because they're not anywhere else. But I do graphics, and you know, like flyer, you know what I mean. Some people call them memes. But on Facebook, there's a lot of, like, the 50501, the 5051, 5051 movement. A lot of Occupy Democrats, the Blue Tsunami, those kind of center left political pages. They'll show you. They'll show you all. Yeah, they will. A lot of the women I was talking about, The Handmaid's Tale, if you know that book, the reason I brought that up is a lot of us will go in Handmaid's Tale outfits. You know, right now, like last time he got in, he did away with the federal abortion rights and left it to each state. So in some states, abortions are banned. So they walked around in that because it was subjugation. That's what that whole Handmaid's Tale was about. And using for women for whatever you want, and telling them you're going to bear children, you're going to just be a maid, you're going to, you know what I mean? It's like, so they'll go in that. I'm actually ordering one myself. I don't have a vehicle, so I haven't been able to get to any protests, but I make the phone calls. I've done phone calling during campaigning in other states. I've, like I said, I make the graphics, I make these videos. This shit takes time, you know. I have messed up foot, but I would bring a walker if somebody would get me to a protest. But yes, some women, just quite a few women, that instead of the handmaids thing, because they don't like the thought of that, they'll come back in full combat gear. And you know, I would too, but paramilitary stuff is so expensive. But that would be another way I would. I mean, but I'd have to get it with the whole utility belt and the whole, yeah, you know. I worked in a men's prison in Arizona for a decade as a corrections officer, you know, a guard. And I used to have all of that stuff before I moved back here. But so yeah, with the combat boots and they were the fatigues, but they were brown, not camo, and that brown like cop shirt. Those really with the whole fit, yeah. You have the pins for shooting expert and your badge and the whole shit, man. It's like 60 pounds of equipment, easy. Your radio holster, your handcuffs and its holsters, your glove and CPR, you know, mask. I mean, it just was never ending. There was shit all over your belt. And you had a regular belt on under that. And underneath your shirt, you had to wear like a t-shirt or an undershirt or something. And with women, of course, you had your bras. Yeah. And that was in Arizona. Yeah. But that's a good choice. But that's what this is about. For all of those that we are, and we are being loud. Some of the protests, they'll be chanting. I got to tell you one thing. I did a little video on it earlier. But if you missed it, last time Trump was in 16, between 16 and 20, 2016 and 2020, Britain, well, he was pissing everybody off then too. Not as bad as now. But Britain was protesting. And I gotta tell you, Brits, man, they're feisty. They're feisty. Like Americans. Although Canadians can be politely feisty as shit, let me tell you guys. But they were singing this song, and see, that's the kind of chant you need. I'm not that great of a singer, but they had somebody like a little drum or something, and they were going, "Hey, Donald Trump, I want to know why you're such a cunt." I want protesters in America for it to catch back on here. And I'll tell you what, if I get to a protest, if I get somebody that can get me to a protest, I'll try to get that going. And if I go to a protest, I will definitely make sure I have as much room as possible on my phone for some video. Oh, but anyway, yeah, that's where, if you want to see what we're doing, y'all have Facebook, I would gather. Just a minute. Sorry, I took that call because it was my sis. I forget where I was now, but she's always been Democrat too, but see, I'll tell you guys what part of the problem is. Probably about 75% of our country, Democrats included, are not keeping apprised even weekly or monthly, let alone daily, just of what's going on, or who's who, or their names of other states, senators and representatives. And I have to admit, 10 years ago, I was kind of the same, but you shouldn't have to know all this, because your people you elect should be doing the fucking job they're elected for. So 75% are not apprised of what's happening even before the election. Well, didn't you guys warn? Yes, we did warn them before you ask. As soon as Project 2025 came out online, as soon as we knew about it, the creator, journalists, and then the regular journalists on these Facebook is where we get our news. That's what I was doing. I was naming David Pakman, and they're different personalities for different people. Jesse Dollemore, Farron Cousins, they're more animated like me, but much less. Very quiet people. Then there's some Gen Zers that are fabulous. Parker Get a Job. I just found him through Luke Beasley and Adam Mockler. And you can play this again and write the names down. That's where you're going to get accurate, center truth, not all right-wing shit and getting rid of all the stuff they don't want. They're getting rid of DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion. I mean, this is how insane they are, guys. They were taking everything that's DEI out, anything. So it's all just white, straight men. Acknowledged, basically. The Angola Gay, right? The plane, named after the pilot's mom. They took the picture out off the website because of the word gay. I'm not fucking kidding with you. I am not kidding with you, people. Yeah. That's something else that the Republicans have done. For the last decades, they've allowed religion, specifically Christianity, into secular laws and bills, which it was expressly stated in the founding documents that church and state are to remain separate. So Republicans have drugged that in, thus they get kickbacks to push Christian beliefs like the abortion and stuff as it's a sin and stuff, so it's illegal. That's a religious viewpoint, not a scientific viewpoint. They're the ones that have pushed shit into politics that should not belong. And they're still fighting to put more shit into secular from religious. Well, anybody with any logical intelligence knows that's a fire hell waiting to happen. And you wonder why so many people got brainwashed into this cult of his. At the same time they were doing that with religion, they've been doing the opposite with education. Instead of foisting it on them, they've been pulling back and restricting, especially for the last 10 years since Mr. Dickhead showed up in politics. Allergies, allergy pills, thirsty, sorry, I get dry. Antihistamines help, definitely, but they also get your mouth dry. So basically, that's kind of the circle that's going on here. Lower education, so you don't learn critical thinking. You're not challenged as easily, especially when they're like, oh, don't teach them cursive script writing anymore. We don't really need it. Oh my God. Archives and shit are in script, you effing morons. Not only that, but writing script teaches patience, fine motor skill, perseverance, success. Just by learning that. Plus, while you're practicing, you could be having a conversation that maybe would be uncomfortable otherwise. Hello, people. Circle breathing, Judy. But I just wanted to address to everybody outside the United States, believe me, we are. They just had another 50 states, 50 marches, one on the same day. Just yesterday, I think, was it the 7th? I think today's the 8th. There was another big one going on today. Is today the 8th, right? Yeah. There was another one going on, I think, yesterday, I think, was a big one in D.C. Huge. I mean, some of these big protests, they bring not just bullhorns. They'll bring somebody who has a drum or, some music type of thing to get a chant going. Then you've got some in combat outfits, some in handmaids outfits, some just normally. Oh, and then there's the signs. You guys not seeing these protests are missing some of the snarkiest ass signs. I mean, on level with Germany's floats and UK's chants, okay? Some of these people do awesome signs. Oh, and some people carry the American flag, but upside down, because when the flag is flown upside down, it means the country is in distress. And which on my Facebook page and my political Facebook page, they have the flag hanging upside down off one of the cliffs of Yosemite National Park, because what he did to the national parks, he's dismantling them too. So yeah, I'm smiling here because I don't want to start tearing up again. I'm not dissing any of you other countries' national parks, because I've seen, not in person, but seen them on videos, many of them, and they are absolutely incredible. But I know for a fact that many American national parks are renowned. And the rapist that fell in 47 Elon and Republicans are just destroying it. And now it's going to get even more fevered in protests, which you probably won't be let seen. Because, like I said, he's now starting up on, 4 years ago, I'm just giving it back to the states. The abortion? No. They're going after a federal abortion ban. Because the Republicans, for claiming to be such Christians, they are incredibly interested what's in everybody's pants. They must see your vagina or your penis. They must know what your vagina or penis is doing and what it's doing it with. They feel the need that they should be able to instruct you what to do with your sexual parts, when to do it, how to do it, and who to do it with. Or if you should at all. I'm not joking. You cannot believe how many things over the last 10 years that they've gotten incredibly stupid on when it comes to genitals and sexuality. They are the saddest, most pathetic, most insecure group of people I have ever known. Which is where racism, bigotry, misogyny all comes from. Insecurity in yourself. I had to get mad again. Because thinking of what they're doing to not only our country, and some of these things aren't going to be able to be reversed if he gets his little paws on it before the courts can stop him. But what he's doing to what he's doing to other countries for shits and giggles as a fucking hobby, and then once he's left everything in flames and decimation, he goes fucking off golfing like the little fucking puppet bitch he is. And yes, I'm more than distraught about how he's treated our allies. And I've said it before. Canada, UK, Australia, New Zealand, and us make up the Five Eyes. And the Five Eyes is fucking not only blind, but it's dead for now. He's not gonna have America defend anybody except Russia. And don't be surprised if he wants American troops to go fight in Ukraine for Russia. Don't be surprised if he floats that in public. And the thing is, Putin played him. As soon as Donald cut off not only all equipment, all funds, all help, but was it yesterday or this morning? I can't even keep track anymore. He pulled giving them any intel anymore. And that's Putin struck because they didn't know. A lot of people were killed. A lot of kids. Just because that bastard got his fragile little fucking ego wounded. And now what's he going to do? Putin lied to him. He said, get Ukraine to the table. Then he had him attack him in the Oval Office. Fucking tank the deal. And when Zelensky didn't come begging back, he took a pissy fit and just cut everything off. And then last night he cut off the intel so he could be invaded. But then after Donald went back to his daddy for a pat on the head, that's on those deaths from that last volley of shit that he did not give intelligence to Ukraine about. All those lives are also on Donald's hands. Because if he had given that intel, Russia never would have caught him off guard. The only reason Putin even needed Donald, that's why he helped him win the election. Because he needed a stupid tool fool that would lure Zelensky into a false sense of security, throw him off guard, and then rip shit away from him. So what used to be our enemies can attack what used to be our allies. If you've ever watched a show called Stranger Things, it's like we're in the upside down. And you know, we can't even really trust like Google search or anything. Anything that has to do with Jeff Bezos, you know, from Amazon, Google, or Zuckerberg, you can't trust. Because they're in with him. It's an oligarchy. The Gulf of America. Guys, I mean, that's like a third grader. That's like asking a kid if you can change your name, what do you want to be called? They go, Superman. It's the Gulf of America. Oh my God. Can you say narcissistic ego? I feel a little better because it's been bothering me last few days reading all these things of people outside the United States wondering why the fuck those Americans, those loudmouth Americans, when they're in our country, why aren't they opening up their mouths in their own country? We are. Big time. I think there's another organization, indivisible.org or .com or .net, but that's also like the 50501 movement.com. You see my raspies looking for attention. Come on up on there. Come up on the desk. I'm usually not making videos at 8:30 at night. Ziggy wants me to open the window a little. But anyway, that's basically what this long ass video. I just want you to know we are. Some of us have been fighting it for 10 years. I myself have been doing these videos for what, 2.5 years? Coming into 3 years. The graphics even longer. The graphics when he was running the first time. My graphics have improved a lot. It's just self-taught and it's just a free program, so you know. I don't know what else to to say, if you get Facebook, look on some of those groups, because we're showing them, we're posting them, we post the good, bad, and ugly. And like I said, it's Occupied Democrats, or Occupy Democracy, Blue Tsunami. There's the other 98%. In other words, the 2% of the rich, and we're the 98% of the regular folk, the peasants, the non-elites. If anybody from another country has any suggestions that would make an impact to revolt, it's not illegal, okay? But yeah, drop it in there. Let me know. Pass along if it's something that is like, that might work here, because we need the help. We need the help. Remember, 1940s Germany and Poland together. Germans couldn't stop it themselves. They couldn't stop their Hitler. They tried, some of them. They did. But they couldn't do it alone. And it feels like it's been a year. But today is what, March 8th? January 20th? How long has he been in office this time around? 6 weeks. He's done this all in 6 weeks. We have time. We need to formulate. That's what we've been doing, but we have been absolutely active. It seems like every week somewhere, and it seems like every other week there's protests in all 50 states on the same day. And it is being covered, as far as the media is there to some degree, but not all the media. And what does get recorded, interviews, or just, what's going on, most of it is chopped per orders on high, shall we say. No, not God. Not that high. Not to give excessive coverage. So you'll get a minute or two of showing a couple things, and that's it. But there's a lot more going on. And even in Washington, not just in the state capitals, but at Washington, D.C. So believe me, half of us here in America are just as flabbergasted. And I just want you to know, no matter what you might be hearing, again, mainstream media, he did not win in a landslide. He didn't win by a landslide. He has no mandate. It was like 1 point something percent, like 1.3% or so. I mean, a minimal number. He won by the smallest of margins, I think, in American history. Almost literally half the country did not vote for him. Some of them didn't really know until the last month or so, and that's right around the time when he got shot at. But quite frankly, I think both of those pot shots were set up by them. I'm sorry, but I do feel that way. I've looked at a lot of footage and a lot of breakdowns from experts and stuff, and knowing what I know about a 223, which is what bullet they were shooting, There's no way. Even if it just went past his ear, even if it just grazed his ear, a 223 would do some damage. They're big. They're not those little bullets. 9mm. I mean, 223s are like those pointed, long pointed shells. That's also the time that made him a god. And that's why, as a coward that he is, he would never have gotten to his feet and pulled his head over his Secret Service, flailing his arms, yelling, "Fight, fight," with blood on his ear. First of all, he's too much of a coward. He would not have stuck his head over the shoulders of them. He would much rather have let them shoot them in the head. I also know the election was manipulated, but we can prove, but we can't definitively prove. And that was Elon's doing, I guarantee, and his techies. Probably the same tech bros that are working Doge to the fucking ground, killing it with Doge. But we are resisting. We have been. Even before the election. But like I said, that last month there was a lot of on-the-fence voters, and he promised he would get the egg prices down because there's avian flu going through America here. And eggs are just outrageous because so many animals have died or had to be killed because they were sick and didn't want to get the rest of the, other flocks sick. He's promised day one. This is his campaign promises. Day one, I'll stop the war with Ukraine and Russia. On day one, prices will lower. Eggs will be cheaper. All prices will be lowered. Prices are already higher, even before the tariff announcements. And, well, the other one isn't either. And just people were gullible and believed him because they wanted to. He lied, and being a cult, if you lie and you tell the same lie and you tell the same lie over and over in different speeches in different places, and then you say people are saying, and then you tell the lie, the only people saying it are you. But you're saying it all the time, repetitive, to brainwash, to pound it in, because that's how they teach. That's how you teach. That's how Sunday school and religions teach. They repeat and they repeat and over and over and over and over. And then when you feel like you're just going into monotone hell, they go, "And God!" and wake you up again. That was a jump scare. But that's the method. And he does the same shit. You'll see him, he'll get low in voice, and then he'll start, because it sounds like some gospel evangelical freaking, But they take a valid tactic for teaching and twist it into an evil, subliminal messaging, brainwashing thing. And never in the history of America has a political party placed one candidate, been loyal to a candidate and not their party. Don't you find that a bit odd? I mean, anybody on the outside looking in, being told, that, and seeing that they're all pandering and justly in line to be the first to kiss his ass or give him the best kiss for a political party. Isn't that kind of crazy? It's a political dude. It's not some spiritual guru that talked to God while he was in the bathroom. Yeah, I know. How do you fall for that shit? Well, you start crapping up the education system over a few years. But now I'm just going to go in a circle. And by the way, that weave he talks about, the only weave is on his head. The weave is ADHD. As you noticed, I have it. And I have like 5 things going on in my head. So I have to kind of corral them. And I let this one out and then this one goes on a tangent. But I don't let any more out because I still got to get this one back over to this finished story. But see, Donald doesn't remember. Because he goes on 5 or 6 tangents, but he can't keep track of them. I've lost track of a tangent a time or two myself. But most of the time I manage, even when I'm on 2 or 3 of them, to get back to why I got on those in the first place. He never does. It's his weave, the art of the weave. You know how he talks, right? That's bullshit. That's bullshit talk for it's ADHD tangents that you go on. You just kind of diverge for a second. You get distracted because what you said reminded me of something else that I wanted to say, but I'm going to forget that if I don't say it. But now I said it, and wait, I just forgot what I was talking about, but I wanted to. That's exactly what it is. Okay, that was just a stream of consciousness in my freaking head. So when Elon is asked, "Oh, you're a genius, right? Yeah. So what it's like to be in your head?" And he's just like, I don't know. He doesn't know because he's always on ketamine. And he's not a genius. The people that work for him are the geniuses. He's just the Nepo baby. Anyway, be assured we are fighting back. It seems like every day somewhere in America they've been protesting. So if you have Facebook or some of those channels, if you check them out that I told you about, that you might see some of that on. Let me know. Let me know if you get those things wherever you are, and if you were able to find any of the things I'm talking about. Because just one, was today or no, yesterday, in the 50501 movement page in Facebook, people in the comments from all the different cities that they were in, little pictures of, oh, I was here in Pennsylvania. Oh, yeah, I was in Oregon here. Yeah, this is me in Wisconsin. You know. So it's happening. You're just not being allowed to see it. Which should also be even scarier for you. And scariest for us. I'm not even going to say that's like what it's like in North Korea or China. But you get where I'm going with that, I hope. It's nowhere near that, but that's what they want. That's exactly what they're aiming for. And I don't understand how the Republicans can just be, okay. I mean, just so you know, the Republican Party, the reason we can't stop it easily is the Republican Party obviously has the executive branch. They're in the White House. They have the legislative branch because they have the majority in both the House of Representatives and in the Senate, the 2 parts of Congress. They have a majority, a very small by like 1 or 2 or 3 people, but a majority nonetheless. And they have the judicial branch. You say, well, Judy, how can they have the judicial branch? Those are courts. Judges are supposed to be bipartisan. Yeah, they are. But SCOTUS, the Supreme Court of the United States, that's like the federal highest court, so it's even above the High Court of the states. The last term, between Republican shenanigans and not allowing Democrat presidents to elect a judge and making up rules and playing fucking, that's when they were still pretending to be civil. So we were trying to be civil back and do things in the right way, in the correct way. But basically they've got more than half of SCOTUS in their pockets. A couple of the Supreme Court justices have been not reporting millions of dollars of gifts, and that's illegal. And all that was breaking during the campaigning. So we haven't had a whole lot of time to take care of any of those kind of slower cases and delicate cases, because we don't have the executive branch anymore. So they can quell anything Democrats start. Any bill, they can just... So the only hope is when things are voted on, maybe there's some some Republicans absent that day, and they don't vote, so they have a more even chance of maybe, one-upping the Republicans. But basically that's a very, very brief description of why the Democrat leadership can't just stomp in and do it. Because if we go in and just say fuck this and by force type of thing, that's not the legal way, and then you're not really practicing what everything we say about the Republicans about being criminals and not caring about law and the rules of law. We're doing the same thing. So glass stones and throwing rocks thing. We can't do it that way and look down our noses at them for doing it in the first place, even though we wouldn't have had to do that. They did, So we're stuck with remaining with the civility, or just forge forward hoping it works. Or you can get mouthy and snarky and back at them, because they can give it, but Republicans cannot take it. They called us snowflakes for 4 years, 8 years. They're the snowflakes. Not because they're beautiful and unique, because they just melt at the slightest force. So anyway, I've probably been talking for 5 hours. But it's just, I'm really upset that other countries aren't hearing about the protests that progressive liberals have been doing for 6 weeks now. I mean, from the time he started, we were like, oh, hell no! I mean, those of us with that we wear a particular uniform, or like I said, the combat outfit or something like that. When he started doing that shit, we're like, okay, where the hell's where the hell's the belt for the sword? It's like we're out of here. Give me your phone. Give me your phone. We're gonna call so and so. Come on. We're gonna set up. We're gonna make a protest. Yeah, a lot of us immediately were like, oh hell no. Oh, me, since I don't have a car, I can't just go to a protest. I'm like, oh, hell no. Starting to do a graphic, That's the way I was today. I must have cranked out a dozen graphics, maybe. Put a few up on the post community board. Just today. A dozen yesterday. Ugh, it's crazy. But, and I don't have sponsors. This is all my own time. But But it really, really bothered me. I know I've been talking a long time, but it really bothered me when I read that yesterday. And then when I read it again today in two different sources, two different, actually, people from two different countries were saying that. And I was like, we're not doing enough? Every day isn't enough? We're sending postcards, letters, phone calls, protesting in person, bullhorns right under their window. I mean, we're boycotting big places, you know. And what was it on the February 28th? If you noticed, Facebook was sort of quiet because we all boycotted Facebook for the day. I think it was Facebook, Instagram, any Meta stuff. The other day, another one's doing this where we boycott Amazon, and you buy stuff from local things instead. And it bothers me that y'all aren't seeing that shit or even hearing about it. That's not good. What if you're from another country and you're not seeing anything? What American news kind of things do you get? I mean, you obviously have YouTube, but I mean, as far as what do you watch for American news? Because you might need to go to some of the places on YouTube here that I mentioned. Anyway, my throat's dry too. And you guys are probably just like, oh God, is she ever gonna shut up? Yes, I am. I hope you do have a good night, and I hope you find some of the places I mentioned. I hope you find, and obviously if you're watching this, you have YouTube. Go check, why don't you do like a search on YouTube for something like 2025 American protests, something like that, or American boycotts and protests, or something like that, and then a bunch might come up. I'm going to show you some of that stuff. Have a good evening, sleep well. If you're in a different time zone, good morning. Hope you slept well. And if you're not a subscriber and kind of like my vibe, I never remember to do it until I end the video. Give a subscribe and a like. I mean, it's not gonna give me any money, but it'll help get my videos shown to more people, so maybe more people get the option of getting truth instead of a bunch of bullshit shoveled on a gold plate that they grab from you before you're done eating the shit. Peace out. Hope I gave you some information, maybe gave you a few sites that you can find some good information. Maybe I gave you a laugh. So we're all in desperate need of that right now, with him threatening to boycott or to tariff all of Europe. Ah! The fucking child. Peace out.